Brings us to the last game of finals week 1. We have Roosters v Rabbitohs. This is, for me, the hardest decision to make as to who I think is going to win this one. We're obviously waiting on Cam Murray to decide if he will work out if he's going to play, which obviously plays a part in this as well. So just check that last hour team list. It might come up there, or hopefully we'll know if he's cleared before that. But in the outside backs, I think there's a plethora of options, if we want to use a big word there. Tedesco and Latrell are the two guys that you need to make a decision on. With Joey Manu out, that makes that easier. If you're picking someone from Roosters, you think they're going to win, then Teddy would be your man. If you think Latrell can come out and do a great job, then he would be your guy. He scored over 50 in each of the last 5 games. So consistency-wise, Latrell is actually the best out of the two, which is so strange to say. And if you need that extra 2K, then probably go for Latrell. If you have a little bit in the tank, I would probably go for Tedesco. Both really big game players, so I don't think you're going to go wrong with either of them. I think Campbell Graham, Tass, Swali'i, and also Tupou are the next 4 guys that I think you can select. So you're splitting 2,700 between them in price. And I think Campbell Graham is going to be the safest out of the 4. That 29 last week, I wouldn't be worrying about that much. He'd be a bit more of a big game player than what Tass and Swali'i would be, just given that there are youngsters. But Tass has been scoring really well. I can't see him going as well in finals time. I can see Graham going better, hence why I'd pick him, but he's obviously a little bit more cheaper. I would go Swali'i just over Tass, even though he's playing on the wing. Just think that rest is going to do him the world of good, and he'll come out and try and dominate in this final series. If you need 500 extra cash, then Tupou could be your play, but probably is a little bit more up and down. He needs that try to do well, in my opinion. In the halves and orcas, I think there's 3 options only, and it is that top 3 in the market. You've got Damien Cook as the top guy, 22,800. If you can spend the cash on him, then he's your guy. Always scores over 60, basically, which is pretty cool. 58 is lowest in that last 10. He's the one to go for. Cody Walker's in a rich vein of form, right? So anything in that last 4, he's been doing really well. He's got 58, 73 in there, 6 back, 9 back there. So he's a good one if you want to play that one. And then Sammy Walker's averaging better, and he has been for the entirety of the season. And he has a couple of low scores in that 30s. 3 out of the last 10 games he's hit under a 40, which is really, really good signs. At 14,370, at worst, if he does get a 35, it's not the end of the world. If Cook was to get a 50, it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? So he needs to get 60 plus. Walker needs to get 35 plus for him to be worth it, and he can get a 50 odd really easily and do a job for you. Verrills, Watson, Keary, Ilias, they're all okay options, but I would look to avoid them if possible. In the forwards, we've got Murray as a clear top option, 36.9 his average, including that 1. So look around that. Should be able to play big minutes if he's fresh and ready to go. So he would be a great option there. If you had 2,400 less to play with, then obviously Crichton is your man. He has that really, really high score in him, which is good. You can easily hit in those hundreds. It's not loading for me. But you see here, he's hit 100, he's hit a 70 odd, then he'll get a 40. So he's that more up and down player, but at 19.5, if you can get that big score from him and not pick Murray, then that could work out as a winning play in this one. So defeated Saftola is a very interesting one. So he's been super consistent in the last 6 games. So 47.8 his lowest. If you can get that at a minimum from a 17,000 guy, he would be a great play. You've got Taukeiaho, you've got Nat Butcher, both really, really good options. Siwa, I think with him now, the fact that they have all of their forwards back, I think is a slight negative on him. Before, when he was one of the big dogs, let's say, when he was trying to carry the squad a little bit, that's why he had a bunch of those big over 50 scores. So I'm just worried slightly about that. Nat Butcher obviously has the ability to score tries as well. So if you have that 16,500, you want someone that could make or break your match, then he would be your man. There you go, Crichton's worked now. So an 80, 101, a 75 in 3 of his last 5 with a 34 and a 47. So definitely that more boom or bust type of guy, but would be able to do a job for you. Tommy Burgess is an interesting one. So 12,900, you get him at a much cheaper price and has that upside, 73 upside. But even, his 350s in his in the last 10 games and 3 scores over 40 odd. So if you get anything in the 40s for him, which I think is fairly likely, obviously has 220 odds and a 13, which is scary. But again, you're taking a little bit of a punt on him to be able to do the job for you. Victor Radley's an interesting one. I expect him on return to be playing some good minutes and hopefully a good score in a finals game. Just be aware that things are a little bit different to those scores and the averages in those recent games because they're just the regular season, whereas this one here is the finals and, lot of extra effort goes into it with these guys, and minutes wise can increase and stuff like that from guys. You see some monumental efforts, some big 80-minute efforts. That's what I was talking about with Cotter in that video yesterday, was that he's been playing 50 to 60 minutes and he could go up to a 70 or 80 type of guy like he did in that in that first Origin game. When you see that those top 4 teams are going to be able to get a rest, if they win they can get a week off. These teams here is like do or die, so they've still be in that same situation like it's a grand final basically for them. So that is all I've got for the forwards anyway. That's the kind of the interesting thing. You got Butcher there at that cheaper price, but I'd rather go for someone like Tommy Burgess or Victor, just knowing the role they're going to play. Egan might not play as many minutes, so could get around that 30 mark, but is that enough for someone at about that 11k mark? So that's that, guys. Jump in the description, hit that sign up link if you haven't yet. If you are new to this channel, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, that will be delightful. And let's catch you in that review show. Have a great weekend, guys.